This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hi, welcome to Rappaport To The Rescue. I'm Jill Rappaport, and I don't know if you know this, folks, but today is a very special holiday. It's National Dog Day. Yay! Well, every day in my home is National Dog Day, but really, this is a time to thank our pets again for what they've given us, especially during these very uncertain times. Give them a little more kisses, a little extra treats, an extra hug, to celebrate what they've meant to us and what they mean to us and how much they give back to us. So don't forget, National Dog Day. And coming up today, another incredible show, if I do say so myself, Broadway extraordinaire superstar Sutton Foster. She will be coming up in just a moment, and joining us is Bill Berloni. Of course, you know Bill, the Jill Bill section of the show. Bill has a very special relationship with Sutton. You'll hear about that and more when we come back.
Spanning the planet. You've landed at the pet entertainment center of the universe. Alert the paparazzi. This is Pet Life Radio, the ultimate animal adventure.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Rappaport To The Rescue. I'm Jill Rappaport, and joining me now, Bill Berloni, because Bill, we have a very special guest coming up, someone you have a very unique connection with from the Broadway stage. Tell us about that.
That's correct. Today we're going to be interviewing Sutton Foster, a wonderful actress, good friend of ours, and we met when she was in the chorus of the 20th anniversary revival of Annie. And when we first met, she was a little afraid of dogs. And so we've got a story to tell about how a star dog helped a star person.
A star is born, literally, because when you met Sutton, she did not have the credentials she has today. She was literally just getting her feet wet and literally just becoming known.
That's true. That's true. And she actually left the show to go to another Broadway show. And we didn't reconnect until years later when she called me up and said she wanted a dog to rescue.
And that's such a great story, because even back then, she knew that when she was ready to open up her heart and home to an animal, it was going to be a rescue animal.
That's right. That's right.
Well, you have such unique, wonderful relationships with so many Broadway personalities. And it's amazing how these friendships are formed and bonded over animals.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Broadway community is a very close-knit family community, because when you work on a Broadway show or theater, you work with people for months, so you get very close to them. And we just stay in touch, whether it's people getting married or people having babies, or in my case, people wanting to adopt dogs.
And do you find with these close relationships that sometimes you get calls at all hours of the day asking you for a little help with these animals?
All hours of the day, and especially during COVID.
Well, thank goodness for you, Bill. I know they're thinking the same thing. Now, coming up, the one and only Sutton Foster. Stay tuned.
This is Pet Life Radio, the possumest pet party place on the planet.
Dude, that's a lot of peas, baby, isn't it? Yeah.
Get ready for some tail wagging, fur flying, feather flapping fun.
Oh, yeah.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Rappaport To The Rescue. I'm Jill Rappaport, and I'm so excited because right now we're about to introduce you to one of the greatest actors on the Broadway stage. She has received not one but 2 Tony Awards for her performances in Thoroughly Modern Millie and Anything Goes. Her other Broadway credits include Little Women, The Drowsy Chaperone, Young Frankenstein, Shrek the Musical, and Violet. And of course, we also love Sutton Foster from her lead role in the ABC comedy drama Burnheads, but one of my favorite shows, the TV Land comedy drama younger. Sutton, so great to have you here.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Well, I don't know if you heard in the beginning, but Bill was raving about your past history. I cannot believe that your relationship goes back almost a quarter of a century. First of all, not to give a plug to younger, but you can't be that old. Come on. You look great.
Thank you. Gosh. When Bill, it was 1996. Yep. It was 96.
Real. Before you were the superstar of stage and screen and you met Bill.
Well, I'm still pretty, I don't even know how to respond to that.
That's why we love you, because you're so modest and down to earth. But trust me, you're amazing and we adore you. Tell me about the relationship with Bill, because in the beginning, you hadn't had dogs in your life, especially rescue dogs, and Bill kind of turned you on to this whole world.
He sure did. I owe a lot to both Bill and Dorothy. I grew up with cats. We always had a cat in our house, or we always had like indoor, outdoor cats. Growing up, we grew up primarily in the South and like little suburbs. And my mom, we always had like one or two cats, Oatmeal and Misty and Samantha and Bubba and Kitty. And we started running out of ideas. It was like Kitty and Fuzzy and Baby. But then I went away to college and I came back and I was like deathly allergic to cats. And there was like all these allergies and stuff. And I actually really love cats. They make me break out in hives and I get sneezes and stuff.
And you're a performer, a singer,
and I'm a
dancer.
Performer.
I mean, that really can be very frightening, right?
Yeah. It was just sort of, I never really had allergies, I guess, because I grew up with them and didn't even know. And then, you go away and you come back. And now, even if I go to someone's house, I have to, bring Claritin or something. But there was one show that I did on Broadway. I did Little Women on Broadway, and one of the understudies who went on for Professor Bear, he had this big beard, and we had to kiss at the end of the play. And I
don't tell me you were allergic to him.
No, I broke out in hives all over my face because he has cats, and there was dander in his beard, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I had all these hives over my face. And I went up to him and I was like, do you have cats? And he goes, I do. And I was like, I think I'm allergic to your beard.
Oh my goodness. And this happened on stage?
Yeah. So I was like, so that's how bad my allergies are for cats. But I met Bill Berloni because I did the 20th anniversary of Annie at the tour. And then it came to Broadway in 1996. And Bill was there with Dorothy. They were both there because he trained the Sandy for that production, Sandy's understudy, and then all the dogs that were in the show. And I had like a fear of dogs, especially big dogs. And I was kind of like, I hadn't been around a lot of dogs. I was a little scared. And there was Bill was so great. And I remember like in between shows, he suggested I just like take one of the dogs for a walk, or like, they like talked to me a lot about, I kind of like overcame like a huge fear. And it was really because of Bill. And when I was ready I sort of worked my way up to having a dog. I had like plants, and then I got goldfish, and then I got a hamster. And then I was ready probably like 10 years later to get my first dog. And the person I called was Bill Berloni. And I knew I wanted to rescue a dog. That was a no-brainer. My brother had a Shih Tzu at the time, and I sort of fell in love with my brother's Shih Tzu, Zach.
And he found you a pair, right? Not just one, but two.
Yeah. So my brother's Shih Tzu's name was Chewbacca. So, and he had a Yorkie named Zach, but I said, I want a Shih Tzu. And so Bill went on a search, and he found two little Shih Tzus, two gray and white Shih Tzus, Linus and Izzy. And we adopted both of them. They were dropped off at the Newark Animal Shelter, and Bill this was my ex-husband and I, so he picked us up in his van and drove us to Newark, and we went in, and there were all these little puppies, and we met them, and I was like, we have to take them. And then they both were really sick. Izzy ended up getting pneumonia, and she didn't make it, but the New York Humane Society helped us so much, and we're there and got Linus strong, and he was like my rock. Linus was like he saw me through a lot. He saw me through my divorce. He saw me through, it's like amazing what animals, he was just like this constant. And he led me to, meet my my husband now. And when I met my now husband, Ted had a dog as well. And Ted's dog was named Charlie. And Charlie was a bigger dog, a lab chow. And as we were sort of courting, we realized that Ted had rescued Charlie from the New York Humane Society and had met Bill and Sandra and like everybody there. We were like, wait a minute. First of all, our dogs are named Linus and Charlie. And we rescued them from like the same people. That's crazy. And what's even more heartbreaking is that Ted and I were married in October 25th, 2014. And Linus passed away in February of that year, of 2014. And Charlie passed away in like September of 2014. Oh. And they both passed away that year. But then we said that they were both waiting until we found the right person and that they knew that we'd be okay. And that they like led us to, I know I could cry just thinking about it, that, you know, they were there for us until we met each other. And then they were, you know, so I know.
That's a beautiful story. And I don't know if you know this, but today is National Dog Day. And for us, it's every day is National Dog Day, believe me. But it really is amazing. I mean, especially now during COVID, you credit them with bringing you together with your ultimate soulmate. It's amazing what these animals, especially these rescue animals, can do for us, right?
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I will say this without a doubt that I will always have a dog in my life forever. The only
rescue
problem,
dog too.
Yes, a rescue dog. Yes, to me that feels like it goes without saying. But yes, right. I will always have a rescue dog in my house. But I also, it's one of the things that Bill said when Linus passed away, because I was so heartbroken. And he said the only problem with dogs is that they don't live long enough. So Linus passed away, and I was just devastated. And then I waited about a month, and I called Bill, and I was like, "You gotta help me!" I was like, "You gotta help me find another dog."
And Bill really came up with the best babies for you. Bill, tell us first of all, the search for Sutton's next beloved fur angels. You know, it's a very special personal thing. And Bill and I live by the motto, it's not about a home, it's about the right home. So Bill, tell us about the dogs that you brought into Sutton's life next.
Well, the main thing when, you know, we're working with performers is their touring schedule. You know, they're away a lot. And so they need dogs that are portable. So I always encouraged Sutton to say small so that she could take a dog on a plane. She could take it to the set. She could take it to a dressing room, you know, and just finding a dog with the same sort of warm personality as her was what I was looking for.
I got a glimpse of one. Mm-hmm. Is that Mabel right at your feet there? Oh my God, is all I can say.
Yeah, Mabel is so sweet. She's totally just zoning
out. Look at her. For our listeners, Mabel's just literally chilling out, laying next to her beloved owner, her beloved pet parent, and you can just see the bond there. I mean, this dog, you're really never apart, are you?
Yeah, we're very bonded. So she came, and she also came in to heal my broken heart, you know, and I just bonded to her immediately. But she was about 7 months when we adopted her, and we worked with a foster. There's a wonderful woman,
Robin Ehrman.
Thank you. I had her first name, and then I couldn't think of her last name.
Okay.
She Pet Rescue Inc., and she works with a lot of shelters all across the country. And Mabel was rescued from a shelter in Houston and was flown up to New York on a Saturday. And we met her on a Monday, right before I was starting tech for Violet on Broadway. And I met her in Robin's basement. and my husband and I drove. I was still distraught. You know, my husband and I drove away. We got about a mile away. And I said to my husband, "Oh, pull over. We can't just leave her." And he's like, "Okay." And we drove back.
And do you take these dogs? You have another dog too. I haven't seen him yet, but Bill, you were telling me about both of these dogs. They're adorable. And Bill, what was it about the personalities in Sutton? How did you know this was the match?
Well, what's interesting is that if I'm good at anything, it's casting dogs in the right role.
Yes.
So I had found Mabel, you know, Robin helped me find Mabel. And then when they came and they saw her and they were like, "Oh, we don't know." And she drove away. I went, I really think this is a dog for her. And then I left, and sure enough, they turned around and came back and adopted her. But some time went on, and she's a girly dog for sure. And, you know, Ted wanted to enjoy some dog time too. So We looked for a big dog and a little dog body, and we found a Cairn Terrier mix. His name is Brody.
Yeah.
So, so he can go hiking with Ted, and Mabel can, lay on the couch and while Sutton's rehearsing.
And Sutton, when you go to work, I mean, those of us who've been fortunate enough, this show goes all over the world, but for those of us that have seen you on stage, and in a minute, I'm going to give you a quote from Christy Brinkley about you. People are mesmerized by your performance. Christy said, there is no one like her. When she's singing and tap dancing, she doesn't miss a beat. She doesn't miss a note on that ship. Everybody just is blown away by your performances. Do you take one or both of the dogs to work with you? Are they in your dressing room? Because you're so joined at the hip, literally.
Mabel goes with me a lot. So she grew up in the dressing room at Violet. And so when we first got her, she was very shy and was like afraid to leave her crate, and we would have to we worked very hard, and now she's like Miss Personality. So she would come to the dressing room with Violet, and then she has been with me on set at Younger, the very first season of Younger. I would drop her off at the wardrobe trailer, and she stayed in the wardrobe trailer, and they had a little cubby for her, and she's just super chill. What happened was we got Mabel, we then adopted Brody, and then we adopted a human daughter. So I have a 3.5-year-old. And so
wonderful.
So Mabel was first. And then when we adopted Brody, Mabel looked at us like, why would you do this? Didn't we have a good thing? And now Mabel and Brody are like brother and sister. They mirror each other a lot when they sleep. They're constantly doing the exact same thing at the same time, or they're very connected, although Mabel is still very connected to me. But then when we brought Emily, our daughter, home, Mabel was like, what have you done? So
what's this other girl doing with my mommy?
So I bring Mabel with me a lot to set, because then she gets she's very, very good in the dressing room. Brody's not so much, because he's way more energetic and needs a lot more. I can't trust him alone in a dressing room. He could be destructive.
So who doesn't love animals on the set? First of all, Hilary Duff was in my very first book, People We Know, Horses They Love. She loves animals. So I would imagine everybody on that set, who doesn't love a cute dog, right?
Well, and everybody has, everyone has dogs. So the makeup trailer there's always dogs underneath our feed. And Molly, who's on the show, she always brings her dog Henry, and Henry and love each other. And then Hillary has a little dog named Momo, and he'll come to set. So and then now there's babies, and it's a very family, kid-friendly, dog-friendly. And I do find that when dogs are around, it's it brings more joy, and it's also it makes everything a little bit better. You're like, oh yeah, okay, everything's okay now. Makes it more fun.
I remember when Sutton adopted Emily, and she called us and said, Bill, what do we do with the baby? And Dorothy and I went over, and we gave her and Ted some tips on how to now expand the family, because the dogs could have taken issue with this new family member. But I remember telling you some ways to treat them and treat her and help them grow together. So
yeah,
it's interesting you bring that up, because I had heard, I guess about 2 months ago, where Andy Cohen had to give up his beloved dog that he had for almost 7 years. And it sounded like there was a bit of an issue with the baby, and he was just heartbroken over it. I mean, that can happen. And Bill, you really are amazing, because, your tips are not only for 4-legged children, but for 2-legged as well. I mean, you're really helping families adjust and work together to live together.
Yeah. I think the dogs, they didn't understand. They were trying to, as Emily was growing, they were they had to come to terms that they were losing rank, that there was someone who was that was outgrowing, they were and the big thing that changed, they sort of freaked out when she started moving. They were like, wait a minute, what is this thing that's moving in the house? And then as soon as she started eating at a high chair and dropping food, they
love her.
They love her. And they're also
the same way. You drop food, I love you. I'm right there to get it. No, that is so great. Well, what about now during COVID? I mean, we all know you from your roles, and thank goodness that we can watch the shows. And, if we can't get to Broadway, we can watch you on TV, which is so great. But what about now? How have these animals, not only your wonderful child, but how have these dogs helped you? Because we're home a lot. There's really nothing we can do. I don't know how it's affected your career, but most people can't do much of anything right now.
I know. It's been an interesting time. When we first came out, so we live in New York City, but we have a house outside the city, about an hour outside the city at a lake where we live on a lake. So Mabel she is like a city dog. She doesn't need much. She's like super, super happy on the couch, coming to work, loves the car, like so chill. Brody, on the other hand, needs a lot more space, needs room, needs exercise. So when we first came out, I was like, the big realization was that Brody is a much happier dog at the lake than he is in the city. Because I think in the city, he feels confined. He's not good.
Noises.
He's not good, like even in an elevator, if he smells like a German Shepherd, or if, he's better being able to run. So out here, he gets the zippies and he like does laps in the yard and is.
Isn't that the best feeling though when you see that? Best. I love it.
So I think that's been our biggest thing. We're like, oh my gosh, and also realizing that, I mean, this is interesting that you do this with children too, is that the dogs have different needs. And like, I couldn't treat Brody like I treat Mabel. Like, he's not as successful, like coming to work and then you realize, you can't treat every animal the exact same way. Like they are
people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Their own distinct personality.
So you're trying to like set them up for success and also like take care of their needs and so they're happy. And so when we first came out, I was like, I think this is like the best thing for him. Like he's just, and my daughter, like just to have space and freedom. And then now we all are just kind of, it's just been really nice. I mean, it'll be interesting, like going back to the city and what that's going to feel like. But
yeah,
for us,
do you plan on doing that? And for what? What are you working on that you're going to have to go back there?
As of today, which of course, all of these things could change, it looks like we're going to be filming Younger in October.
Yay! Is this a big scoop?
Well, I mean, again, that's today.
Right.
So it's everything. It's hard to plan, when everything keeps changing so much, but that's the goal, is to start filming in October. And hopefully,
I wonder how do you do that though? I mean, you're so close, you especially. I mean, with some men and with dating or whatever. I mean, how are you going to do that? You can't wear masks on the show, or can you?
I know. Well, there's a lot of protocols. SAG-AFTRA, they've been working very hard for safety. I mean, obviously, it's like we can't go to work. We can't work if it's an unsafe environment, or if there's always going to be risk, because it's impossible to eliminate all risk. But I know I've spoken to some people who have gone back to work. No shows in New York have gone back to work. A lot of them are starting in September, but I think some shows have been shooting in LA and in Europe. And a lot of people are saying that it's weird and it's different, but it feels very, very safe. So we'll see.
It's different. And along with the success of these TV shows, you to all of your fans are still first and foremost a Broadway superstar. It's very sad what's happening with Broadway. That to me is just tragic, because really they are talking about 2021, but who knows, right?
Yeah, I know. It's a really, what we do as performers, live performers, require people to gather in large groups, and realizing that I never in a million, we could have never predicted any of this to be happening. And people gathering is such a beautiful, wonderful thing in live theater. And yeah, I have no idea. And I think we will see. We will have to see. I know there's just going to be a big learning curve, and we'll see. Live theater, Broadway, it will return. It's just a matter of when. But that need, I think, for live theater will always be there, and bringing people together in that way, in that form of entertainment. I just can't imagine it going away forever. So we will see. Hopefully it'll be sooner than later.
And Jill, did you know the biggest event of the Broadway season was the revival of Music Man, starring Sutton Foster and Hugh Jackman? That was this year. That was the show to see. And,
I know. And as you know, Bill, I talked about this a few weeks ago. I was lucky enough to be at a dinner party sitting right next to Hugh and his wife, Debbie. And it was so exciting because I'm such a huge fan of his. And of course, that role, that show was truly one of a kind. I mean, it was the talk of the town, literally.
And so, Sutton, are there plans for it coming back?
Yeah, so we would have been in rehearsals right now. That we were supposed to start performances in September of this. Yeah, it's a while to think about. But right now they've pushed it to April would be previews of 2021. So we'll see.
Well, I hope, because we do need this. We really do. And besides your acting abilities, obviously we know about your shows, your Broadway shows. You're a great singer. We know that. And you're also an artist. I don't know how many of your fans realize what a great artist you are. Are you finding that you're doing more artwork, singing at home, things that you can do alone because you don't have the stage?
You know, it's what's interesting is that you would think that, but it's tricky with a 3.5-year-old. So I'm trying to make more time for a lot of my expression right now is I cook a lot. So a lot of my creativity goes into cooking. I do a lot of crochet. I've been crocheting a lot. And I've been doing some music collaborations with some friends and with my music director. And that's been a really wonderful creative outlet. But I haven't drawn in a while. So that's actually a really nice reminder.
And you're so talented at it. And being a new mom, just to be able to sing to your daughter, what a voice you have. She's so lucky. Do you sing her lullabies at night? I mean, if I had your voice, I would never stop.
We do. Well, and one of the great things is that she loves to sing and she loves music. So I sing every night. My husband and I we sing Goodnight, My Someone to her, which is a song from Music Man.
Oh, I love that.
But my husband started singing that to her before I was ever attached to the Music Man. And so now it's really special because every single night we sing it to her, and then I will be singing it on Broadway. And then I'll always have this context of, singing it to my little baby girl, so it's become like a special thing.
Well, you don't think we're going to let you go without a little sample of it. Oh my goodness. Please, Sutton, that's too much of a tease. Bill and I would love to just hear a little bit. And of course, Mabel wants to hear a little. What do you think?
I'll sing it to Mabel. I know. Mabel's we think she's like a half Dachshund, half Yorkie or Dorky or something.
And I have a Dachshund.
I'll sing it to Mabel.
Okay. Take it away.
She'll probably just lick my face, which she's doing right now. Good night, my someone. Good night, my love. Sleep tight, my someone. Sleep tight, my love. I wish you love, and I wish you light. So good night, my someone. Good night. Sweet dreams be yours, dear, if dreams there be. Sweet dreams to carry you close to me. I wish they may, and I wish they might. So good night. My breath is a little stinky. My someone, good night. Good night. Good night. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, bravo. Even my Dachshund is sleeping right now. You put him to sleep in the best way, Sutton. Oh, you are just as wonderful as Bill has been telling me you are. This is such a pleasure to have you on our show. We adore you and bless you for all you do to entertain us, for animals in need, being a wonderful mother and a wife, and obviously a great friend to Bill Berloni, who just sings your praises all the time. And Bill, I know Sutton has your number if she ever needs help with those rescue animals, but what a great home that you have made for those dogs, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't have found better.
We feel pretty lucky. We all found each other.
Well, thank you both so much. Sutton Foster, Bill Berloni, thank you again. And happy National Dog Day. Thank you all for tuning in. And as I always say, stay positive.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.